Hello, everyone. It is Monday, September 28th. Welcome to another episode of Together San Diego. I'm your host, Luis Cruz, Community Relations Director for the San Diego Union-Tribune. And joining me this afternoon is Keshia Javis-Jones, a U.S. Marine Corps veteran and now the Administrative Director of Education Programs for Workshops for Warriors, and Bob Lawrence, a former military reporter. I had the pleasure of working alongside Bob when we were both reporters over at ABC 10 News. Bob is a Vietnam War era veteran and was a staff sergeant in the Air Force Reserves. Keshia and Bob, thank you both for joining me this afternoon.
Thank you for having us.
Absolutely, my pleasure.
It's my pleasure as well. You are both advisory committee members for the GI Film Festival San Diego. Later this week on October 1st and 2nd, the festival is holding its first ever virtual showcase. Keshia, tell us about what we can expect.
Yes, you can expect a few different films over the next 2 days. It'll be 6 in total, and then they have a few different features and shorts and documentaries. The cost to attend the event is $10, and you can watch virtually at home from the comfort of your own couch.
All right, that sounds great. Bob, anything you'd like to add to that?
Well, in the year of COVID 2020, we've all had to make changes. We've all had to adapt to different things. And normally the GI Film Festival is being shown in theaters. So we can't do that this time around. So we decided to continue with this thing, but make it a virtual showcase. And so that way folks can sign up and, as Keisha said, from the comfort of your living room, explore these films. The GI Film Festival is by, for, and about veterans. So all these films are either done by veterans, showcase veterans, or are about veterans issues. And so it's a great and unique way to kind of showcase what our huge veteran community here in San Diego has done and is doing.
All right, one of those films that will be highlighted in this year's showcase is the film, in their own words, The Tuskegee Airmen. It'll be shown on October 2nd. I want to continue the conversation, but let's take a sneak peek at the film.
U.S. Army Air Corps had decided they want to train some blacks to learn how to fly planes and operate air base completely.
We had to be, number one, whether we're mechanics or cooks or bakers or nurses or pilots or whatever, we have to be number one. That's what was expected.
So he says, you're one of Roosevelt's boys. He said, before you get off of this bus, you can add another battle star to those ribbons you got. And so he put his hand on the seat in front. He was getting ready to hit me.
The guys who would be protected and on their way back empty would meet bombers going out to drop their load. And they would say, who's protecting you? And they would say, the Red Tails. And the bombers going home would say, I'll see you tonight.
And coming into the harbor, I always tell everybody about coming back home. The flags are waving, Statue of Liberty, and going down the gangplank, little white soldier says, whites to the right and niggers to the left. Coming back home after 9 months in Germany as a POW, fighting for this country.
When the president came out and spoke to us, it was a glad feeling of people in the higher state of our government recognize what we had done.
And to have the President of the United States to salute the men and to say that it was for the purpose of salutes that had gone unrecognized and unaccepted and stuff like that. And to have it actually happen was tremendous.
In my lifetime, black man being considered, even possibilities of being considered president of this country. It's fantastic. How do we go from there? Keep involved, stay in school, learn how to play the game, the baseball game of the United States of America. God bless America.
Keisha, as a U.S. Marine Corps veteran and advocate for social justice in the military, talk about the importance and inspiration behind this film.
Yes, so this would be like sitting and actually reliving the history of what these gentlemen did for our country and what they did at war. Being the first African-American pilots, they were faced with a number of adversities basically based off of racism, and their hope and perseverance overcoming that and never receiving recognition for their service time at war. Was very hard for them. Being an African-American woman who served in the United States Marine Corps, I served 10 years. I'm thankful to say that I did not have to persevere through the things that they will tell you about firsthand through this documentary. So it's an amazing film, and we would hope that everyone takes the time to watch so they can be a part of this.
Yeah, it looks like a great film. Bob, can you talk about maybe some of the other films that we can expect to see this week?
One of them, and in fact, it's kind of a special day today. She Wore Silver Wings is one of them. And I believe you have a photo ready. So this is Jean Landis, and they were part of the WASP. So Women's Air Force Service Pilots. Basically, they flew aircraft that had to be transported all over the country, whether for repairs or they were moving aircraft, all over our country. They were women Air Force Service pilots. Well, Jean is a San Diego native, and today she marks her 102nd birthday. So we wanted to wish Jean a very happy birthday today. Isn't that amazing?
That's a great
and
story.
Another film that's going to be shown as well. Isn't that great? So, and a lot of people really don't know that the WASP is Women Air Force Service Pilots. Were flying bombers, they were flying fighters, and again, they were ferrying these aircraft to and from. One of the other films that's going to be showcased is something I thought, well, I'm a history kind of major, and when I saw this film, I didn't know anything about them. They're called the Donut Dollies. And I believe we've got a little slide of them as well. Yeah, so these are women who, through the Red Cross, went to Vietnam and kind of brought a little piece of home to the GIs who were in Vietnam at the time. And they gave them the name Donut Dolly. So this particular documentary takes two of them and follows their steps and whether they made a difference out there. And of course they did. You talked to all of them. That's what these films do. They really highlight these. They're not really about war. Okay. That's not what we're all about. We're about these little pieces that maybe people don't or aren't aware of during our history. Tuskegee Airmen is one of them. George Takei, who you know from Star Trek, right? But he was part of a film about what Japanese Americans went through during that time period. So that's what we're trying to do here. And one of the other films we've got here too is called No Greater Love. That particular film is an Army chaplain who describes the combat deployment in Afghanistan and the struggles that many returning servicemen and women continue to face to this day. So it's these little snippets of life in our military that echo throughout our community, because each one of these films really does touch every one of us in our community and, of course, across the nation.
Yeah. And Bob, you've been, I understand you've been helping out with the film festival since the beginning when you retired as well. Give us a little bit of background on the film festival and talk about how it's evolved over the years.
It's really unique. So it actually started more than a decade ago in Washington, D.C., and it was called the GI Film Festival. Well, more than 5 years ago, KPBS decided this is the kind of festival we needed to bring to San Diego. So KPBS General Manager Tom Carlo said, we're going to bring this festival somehow, some way to San Diego. And he vowed it was not going to be one and done. So we're going on our 5th year now, and we are now the sole proprietor of the GI International Film Festival, which occurs here in San Diego, usually in the fall. Now, because this year of COVID, we've had to push that away and go differently. So it's going to be a virtual showcase, October 1st and 2nd. But our festival, we hope to resume in theaters starting next May. But right now we're taking submissions. So we have decided that we are going to take over the entire GI Film Festival banner, if you will. And Tom's plan is to one day roll out the format to other PBS stations across the country as to how they can do this program as well. Obviously, the point being here is that I don't think you can say enough or pay tribute enough to those who wore the uniform. And so this is a way we do it and bring a greater understanding between the civilian side and the military side. So that, in essence, is really the point of the whole festival, is to not only showcase these films and enlighten the public, but also make those two mesh together, the civilian world and the military world, because a lot of us really don't realize what some of our neighbors are going through, or some of the struggles that they face or faced. And so this is a way to showcase that.
Keisha, how long have you been with the festival, and how did you get involved?
So I actually just joined the festival this year, and I joined the festival for the very reasons that Bob just mentioned. Being that I am a Marine Corps veteran, we don't always sit around and tell the stories. And if you've never put on the uniform, it's really hard to have that firsthand experience. And the GI Film Fest is doing a great job telling these stories, recognizing the individuals. And then not only that, where can you sit down and watch a documentary and still sit down at the end and have a panel with the filmmakers? How amazing is that, to watch that and then also have the opportunity to have those questions answered by people that firsthand have made this documentary, share the importance of why they made this movie and or documentary, and why they decided that it would be a great story to share.
Yeah, Keisha, you were telling us about the tickets. They're available for $10 online, and so I go to gifilmfestivalsd.org. I purchase my ticket. What can I expect on Thursday and Friday?
You can expect to be able to log in and sit. Go ahead, Bob. Take it.
Keisha, go ahead. No, you were fine. What they do, they break the films down into what they call blocks. So, and these films, I just want to clarify, they're not like when you go see a movie in the theater, in that they're all 2 hours or 3 hours long. They're not. We're broken up into blocks. So some of them may be 15 minutes, some of them may be a little less than an hour. But they're in blocks. And so on Thursday, you'll see 2 films. And then on Friday, you'll see the other films. So because they're not all the same time length. But I wanted to echo what Keisha was saying, was that how many times have you gone to the movies and wanted to ask questions of either the cast or the director? Why did you do this? Well, now you get the best possibility. You get the chance, even in this virtual showcase, to do the same thing. And for me, having hosted some of those panels over the years, that's when some of the veterans in the audience, as Keisha was talking about, they don't really relate to people who aren't veterans. And it's because they just don't easily relate to it. But now when you have these panel discussions, you really get to feel, and these veterans begin to partake in these discussions about the film and what drove them to do what they did. And you really gain an insight from these panels. I can't stress that enough. They're a key part of this whole festival. So I urge you to really kind of join in and stay put. It's not just over when the credits roll. The panel discussions are the key part of a lot of what we do.
Right. Keisha, what are you looking forward to?
I'm actually looking forward to all of them. Like I said, I just joined the advisory committee and I want to have the whole experience, and I'm happy that I'll be able to share with my family, and then also have the discussions with the committee members as we get ready for May as well.
That's awesome. All right, so the full GI Film Festival San Diego has been moved to May 18th to the 23rd of next year. What can we expect for next year? I also understand that you're also
next year.
I also understand that you're accepting. I understand you're accepting submissions at this point.
Right. So through the San Diego Film Consortium, they kind of run the local or the local film showcase. So we have a lot of people here in San Diego who are involved in documentary filmmaking. And if this is by, for, and about, well, now you have a way to showcase what it is you've made by submitting your film to the film festival. That's what we do as advisory committee members. We screen these films to be included into the festival. So right now there's an October deadline for submissions if you have a film ready to go. I won't go into the details. You see the where you can find out the information right there on your screen, gifilmfestivalsd.org. And it can answer not only where you can get tickets to view these things on for our virtual showcase, but also how to submit films. It answers a lot of questions. So I would suggest if you've got any interest at all, please check out that website, gifilmfestivalsd.org.
All right, great. Is there anything either of you would like to add?
I'll be a gentleman and let Keisha go first.
I would just encourage everyone to take the time. If you don't have time on the first, then maybe you can make a few minutes on the second. But take part. Whether you're a veteran, family member, just supporter of the military, know nothing about the military, this is for everyone. And we would like to share this with everyone, and we are wanting you to be a part. And just for $10, like everyone has said here today, just for $10, you can purchase that online at gifilmfestivalsd.org and watch this coming weekend.
Great. Bob?
Thank you. I would just add, Luis, that it's a pleasure to see you again from our old days back at another station. So, but I would also mention that this particular, again, I was a military reporter and had a pretty keen insight into our military, active duty and retired. And what I discovered was during the height of the Iraq War, during the deployments to Afghanistan, only 1% of the entire country was directly or indirectly involved with the military, whether you were a spouse or active duty. That meant 99% of the American public either was unaware or just read a headline, really didn't know. So I made it my mantra then when I was working to let the 99% know what the 1% were up to. And this is a way to sort of continue that service, if you will. They are our neighbors. Our military are our neighbors. They live with us. They shop with us. They go everywhere. But a lot of them, I don't want to say they're invisible, but their needs and wants and some of the things they've gone through. This is a way that the film festival can expose that and give you a greater understanding of what it means to put on that uniform.
That's great. That's great. Bob, always great to see you. Keisha, it was nice meeting you. Thank you, Keisha Javis-Jones and Bob Lawrence, advisory committee members for GI Film Festival San Diego. Again, you can get all your information at gifilmfestivalsd.org. Thank you both for your time today.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. And thank you at home for watching, everybody. Have a great day, everybody. San Diegans accomplish great things every day. We care about our neighbors and our community. We are proud of our diversity. We are resilient. We hold our leaders accountable. We live in one of the most dynamic cities in America, the San Diego Union-Tribune, telling San Diego's story for more than 150 years.